everyone, and thank you for joining me today. This is Norma for Tutorial Tuesday, and I wanted to show you some inking, or stamping rather, using Pearl-Ex Pigment products or powders. And so today we're going to make a simple card, and I'm going to be using the bird from Bird Lyrics, the Wake Your Soul. And I'm also going to use a border from the Paris set. First I'm going to do my bird. And Pearl-Ex is a powdered pigment, so you can add this to just about anything and it will bind to it. If you don't add anything to it, then it'll just eventually just fall off. So it needs to bind to something. So today I'm going to be using the glue pad as my binding agent. And I'm just going to ink up my stamp. And stamp my bird. Okay, once I got them on there, I'm going to come in with my Pearl-Ex, and I'm going to use this blue-green and micro pearl to color him in. So I'm going to give him some white because it'll show up nice against that black. And I'm just pouncing it on, being careful not to smudge my ink. So once I have my white, I'm going to come in and give it a little bit of blue, or a little bit of an accent. Just blend that in there. Okay, so once I have that in, I'm just going to come over, pounce it off. And you see how there's a lot of shadowing going on right there? That's okay, because I can get that to come off. And I'm just going to brush it off before I get ready to set my powder. And I'm really not worried about it getting all over my card, because I like, if you visit me a lot and you know my projects, then you know that I like a lot of messiness and just kind of go with it, right? I think that's part of the fun. And all of this will add a nice shimmer anyway. But once I get ready to heat set, you'll see a lot of this powder is going to come off, because my Pearl-Ex is going to bind to that glue. So in fact, I think I'll just go ahead and heat set at this point. Okay, now I'm going to come back in and just kind of brush that off a little more. And you see how that's just coming off, but it's binding to my glue and giving me a nice crisp image. And you can just wipe that off. And you're left with a really nice image there. Now we're going to add the border around. And we're just going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to use the blue. Okay, now I'm going to come back in with that blue and pounce it on just like before. Okay, and this time, you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go straight through this up. Okay, now I'm just going to rub the rest of it off, just like before. That's the fastest way. And if you see that, this is pigment. So if you get it on something, it will stain because it's pure pigment. So just keep that in mind. That it can stain your desk, it can stain your clothes. And there's my card. Very simple. If you want, you can add some more border to it. Maybe some white accents would be nice. I was playing around earlier, and I want to show you real quickly a tag that I did. And when I did this tag, I used the glue just like this time, but instead of pouncing it on, I just poured the pigment all over it and then shook it off. And so you can see that it did bind to the glue, but it went ahead and stuck on to my tag as well. So it's got a nice shimmer everywhere. And the reason for that is that before I didn't rub it off. I just kind of tapped it, and so a lot of the residue stayed on. Then I came in with my Dilutions inks. I used Bubblegum Pink, Calypso Teal, and some white, which I haven't really gotten it to work too good. So the white doesn't really show up. But with the other ones, you can see because I sprayed that on, wherever it had powdered loosely on the surface, it went ahead and bind it to the ink. So it will work with any kind of medium. You can use it with paint, anything. You put it in clay, it'll add shimmer and color to just about anything, but you want to use very little because it really does pack a big punch. And so you can see it really has a beautiful, beautiful shimmer. So anyway, hope you enjoyed Tutorial Tuesday, and maybe go out there and play with some other mediums that you don't normally use with your stamps. You can really get some fun looks and beautiful looks like this shimmer from Pearl-Ex. Anyway, thanks again for joining me, and see you next time.